Hello, in this short video, I'm going to explain how to do the first homework. Basically, the first homework is about creating a simple calculator. Let me bring the detail of the homework. As you see here, you have to create an application, Windows Form application, using C# so that it has the following object. It needs to have a text box. It needs to have a bunch of buttons for digits from 0 to 9. It needs to have a single button for the decimal point, 4 buttons for the operators plus, minus, multiplication and division. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. We need to have 2 buttons for the left and right parentheses. And then there should be another button that is used to calculate whatever is entered using the other buttons and displays the results in the same text box. So I'm going to show you how to do this. In order to do the calculation, you can use the data table class and the method compute that computes a given algebraic expression. This is the whole code that you need to calculate a given expression in the form of a string. And then at the end, you have to submit a zip file. So a deliverable of this assignment is a single zip file containing the following items: a short MP4 video, less than 2 minutes, explaining or I should say illustrating how to interact with the application, the source file of your program. Normally you have like 3 source files. I'm going to show you how to do it, and a README file containing your name and all the items that have been successfully implemented. That's pretty much it. This is a very short homework. Let me go over the way to do it using Visual Studio 2022. Here is what you need to do. You need to first create a new WinForm application using C# programming language. There's a template in Visual Studio 22 which says WinForm application with C# programming language. You need to use that. When you create a new WinForm application with an empty template, you will see an empty Form 1 design tray, and then you can use toolbox objects to add stuff to this or add control objects to this form. For example, you can add a new button this way. You can go to the toolbox, pick a button, drag it, and drop it on this. Right? I already have dragged and dropped multiple buttons, 2 for digits, 1 for a dot, a plus, minus, a star, slash, parentheses, and a calculate button. I definitely need more buttons, but I didn't want to do it all the way. I want you to do it, and I want you to make it look much nicer. So add all other buttons for all digits. I only have 2 digits, so you need to add 8 more digits: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you can just organize these buttons so that it looks nicer. You can use the layout of the calculator that exists in Windows to, design your own form. And these are basically labels. You can add more labels by just searching for label and then dragging a label and dropping it here. I don't need labels. I already have 3 of them. One is display, one is digit, one is the operation. Let's put the display here. And then this is a text box. You can just grab a text box and bring it into this form. You can change the size. You can go to the form properties. When I click on this on the right side, the properties, I can see the text. I can make a default text for it. As you see, the default text will show up here. You can, I don't know, you can select a multi-line properties to true. This will allow your text to contain multiple lines. Let me delete this. We don't need a second one. I already added one here. This one looks nice. I put it on the top. That serves as the display for my calculator. I want to show you like what I did in this text box. I put an enter an expression. I have a multi-line property set to true, as I said earlier, and that's pretty much it. Its name is called text box 1. You can change it to any name you want. You can change it to display or whatever. I have ducked it to the top. That's why it's on the very top of the display. You don't really need to care too much about the layout. We're going to have a very thorough explanation on the layout of objects on a form. This assignment, I'm going to give you a break for layout. You can just put it whatever you want, but if you want the text box to display on the very top and it can stick to the top, you can duck it to the top this way, and the location is 0, 0. That means it's on the very top left. And you know, let's not change any of these. The sizes, the way that it holds, it fills the whole width of the form, which is 600, and the height is 68. And the form itself has a bunch of properties like sizes 616 and 435. You can change these by just dragging these and changing the size. Drag these borders and, you know, drop it using mouse, whatever you want. I don't want to change anything for now. You can change the icon as well. You just need to add a different icon to your application, and then that icon will appear on the top left. I have set the one more thing I wanted to mention. I have set the text of this form to simple calculator. That's what appears on the top left. You can call it whatever you want, calculator, maybe homework 1 calculator, anything that you like. And you can just play with other properties if you want and figure out things for yourself. Let me do a little bit of property manipulation with this dot. Let's say you have selected this button, and then in the properties you can for example, select the back color to a weird looking color like info color, like the light yellow. Or maybe grab this button and make it longer. And then set its fore color to, let's say, in the custom, I'm going to pick red, or even its back color to, in the custom, I'm going to select green. Now, some weird looking colors, lime color, green, yellow color. You can even like pick the form and set its background color to, you can pick a background image. You can select the background color to, let's say, the active caption. You can do whatever you want. I mean, you can make this beautiful. You can go to the, let's say this minus is too small, so you can go to the font and make this, let's say 16, right? So it's a bigger minus. Or you can pick your own icon for the minus from an image that you can find online and use that image as a representation of that minus button. After you did all of these nice looking things, you can work on the code or the logic of this calculator. The logic is fairly simple. It's basically setting a few event handlers and that's it. For all of these buttons and the buttons that you will add for digits 2 to 9, you need a generic event handler. So I was showing you the properties in this tab. If I go click on this electrical whatever signal that whatever electrical shape that you see here, you will see all the actions or events. And then for the button, as I said, click is the only event that you need to handle. And then the event handler, I called it generic button click because this is going to be the same event handler for every single other button that you see. As I showed you, every button has the same generic button click except this compute, which is different. But the rest follow the same or need the same event handler. And look at my event handler. You can do whatever you want in it. But what I did was I created a private Boolean idle set it to true that shows when the the calculator is not actively engaged in calculating an expression. It's idle. That means it's either at the beginning or it's after calculating an expression, it gets idle again. So if it's idle, I'm going to clear the text box first. If the user clicks on one of those buttons, and then I'm going to set the text of the text box. Text box is the the display on the top, equal to sender as button. Sender is going to be the button that clicking on it will trigger an event, and this is the event handler of that event. So that button dot text. So for example, if it's plus, the text will be appended by a plus. If it's 5, the text will be appended by a 5. Right? So that plus equal appends the button's text with the text box text, and then we're going to set the idle to false. Because that starts or resumes a calculation. The calculate click is the event handler of that compute button, which I set it as which I colored it with a green color, and that will call this cal function. This cal function gets a text string, and it's going to calculate the results. And then you're going to add your text with an equal sign and a result to string, which basically displays the answer on the screen. And then you're going to set the idle to true because that's when the calculator will enter an idle state and then it's ready for the next calculation. The cal is basically a function that gets a text and creates a data table and then pass the text and an empty string to the data table's compute method. That's a method that gets this expression and a filter. You don't need any filter in this case, and then it's going to calculate the expression for you, and then it's going to return the value. So you don't need to do anything yourself. You don't need to be worried about the precedence of operators or parentheses or dot or numbers. This data table compute method will take care of all of that for you. So you basically don't need to write any other code other than the ones that I showed you. So I have shown you all the details for all the codes that you need to write. Then you can just go ahead and do this assignment. One last thing, the text box that I showed you on the top has an event called click. When I click on the text box, I would like to clear it. So I will set text box that text equal to clear to empty a string. The alternative thing I can do for this is to say text box one dot clear. That's a method that clears the text. So they both have the same effect. Let me show you how things work out. Now that I hit the start button, I will see like this simple calculator. I can say 1.11 divided by 0.0011, maybe 101. This is going to be resulting in number 1000, if I'm not mistaken. And then I'm subtracting 100 from 1000. The answer should be 900 plus 10 times 100. That's going to give me 1900 minus, in parentheses, 1 plus 10. That's going to give me 1889. Hopefully I'm right. And then I press this button. Yeah, 1889. That's the answer. Then I clicked on it and it got disappeared because that's the way it should be. Right? And then you start just doing the same things again and again. Like this minus this equals. Now let's do it again. 1.0 times 1.1. The answer is 1.10. And when you're done, just close the application. Now, one more thing here, when I set text box dot clear, I have to say idle is true. That's the last thing I wanted to do. And that's pretty much it. You can just, start with an empty template, implement these codes, and make this form a bit nicer, add all the buttons for the digits, and that's pretty much it. Thank you, and hopefully you're going to finish this assignment before the deadline.